Hello and good morning. You are back. Thanks for being back with me. I know your time's important, and to me, it means more to me than you can even imagine. That I get to share my point of view, and there's actually people that actually want to hear what I have to say. Today's video, I want to talk about the last video I did. It was quite controversial to a lot of people. I really didn't mean it to be personally taken. I received more calls, more texts, more emails, more feedback about that video than any video I've done in quite some time. If you haven't seen it, it's called Crypto Regulation, I believe. And you should check it out. Today I want to talk about a couple of things that I said in the video or implied in the video that I'd really like to backtrack on. I meant every word of that video. I stand by every word of it, but people took a few things, offense to a few things, and that's okay. We live in that kind of world. You can be offended by anything I say. I'm cool with that. As long as you're able to not be offended when somebody, has a logical point and it doesn't resonate with you, but it does make sense to a lot of other people, right? The whole world doesn't revolve around any one of our opinions. So with all that said, let me say this. I don't mean any personal harm to any politician, any person, any financial governance, or any of that. I do not know these people on a personal level. And since many of you know what I do for a living, I work for very, very influential billionaire people. They understand they have a target on their back. They get it, okay? So they have thick skin, so don't worry too much about all that. And they have PR groups to take care of a lot of it. And they're well compensated, as you might imagine. So with that being said, I don't mean any ill will to any of those people. It's the system in which is corrupted and only seeks to keep further corruption by the control and the surveillance of you and I's personal lives through our wallets or through stable coins or any other manner that they would like to intrude on your life personally. My point in the video is, this is your money. You earned it, it's now yours. There's nobody should be able to say, oh, I have $100 in my wallet. Oh, well, you have to tell Uncle Sam in our nation, Uncle Sam, what you're going to spend it on. Those days have to end. And don't give me this spending it on terrorism thing. The only people spending money on terrorism are the three-letter agencies, and everybody knows it. There, I said it, right? I'm not, 99.9% of the people in crypto are not involved with anything malicious or criminal. That's a lie, okay? You're lying to the public, right? So quit saying the same lie over and over again, hoping the public will adopt it. The public, and in bigger sense or case, the banking system and Wall Street is coming to crypto. If you just look at the ETF over the last 4 weeks, it's blown away any ETF in the history of Wall Street. And there's 2 or 3 of them that are just rocking it. The beautiful thing is that leads to some form of decentralization, which I love. The more companies that we can have owning big pockets or pools of crypto instead of 1 or 2, the better off all of us will be in the long run. That is a forced decentralization that I highly approve of. I'm not a big fan of the ETF because I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to control more coin. They're trying to eliminate the on-ramps and off-ramps, eliminate your wallets, make you sound like you're the criminal. Let's get back into that. You're not a criminal. I'm not a criminal, and we know that. Why would I do criminal affairs on a blockchain? If I wanted to do that, I'd just do it with cash. Which has always been the go-to favorite globally with drugs, wars, buying of weapons, children, borders, all the rest of it that all of us know about. They're not going to use blockchain. Why would they do that, right? Nobody's doing that. So what are they really trying to achieve here? Well, they understand what's happening to the US dollar. The US dollar is being less and less adopted. Those of you who saw the Putin interview the other day was one of the great interviews that I've seen in a long time publicly. Now, those of you who watch my channel, I listen to a lot of what Putin has to say. I've probably listened to, I don't know, at least a couple speeches a year for the last 15 years about what Vladimir Putin has to say. Because, see, I'm an objective human being. I'm capable of thinking outside of the box. I'd like to know what other people think. In particular, the #1 nuclear power in the world. I would like to know what those people are thinking. In particular, what their leader's all about, since he's been their president for, I don't know, 23 years. When you think about it in that sense, how is it even possible, okay, that we're spending we're being the United States, spending $200 billion to Ukraine for more guns, but according to that man, and I pretty much know this to be true, we've never even picked the phone up. Isn't a phone call from leader to leader a whole lot cheaper than a couple of $100 billion and 400 million dead Ukrainian men and women? Not to mention countless buildings and whatnot has been blown up. Of course, we already know, gosh, BlackRock and all the rest of them, Goldman Sachs, are going to rebuild it all. They got all the contracts already, right? Not to mention, they get the contracts of actually the weapons to blow it up. They get the contracts to rebuild it all. What a business model, huh? Just, there's just that little 400,000 people, dead bodies that sort of get in the way. Anyway, I don't want to get too into that. Evidently, I just did. You and I have the opportunity to go outside of their said dollar. This is not what they want. They want to keep us on the hamster wheel. You and I have an opportunity to take our dollars, US dollars, and convert them into something a whole lot more secure, a lot more safe, and are actually deflating, not inflating, okay? And they are becoming more and more sought after globally. Interesting that he didn't ask Putin about him spending $1 billion on the #1 mining facility in the world to mine Bitcoin. I was hoping he'd talk more about crypto, but anyway, I think that he's going to interview him again or two, if you know what I mean, before too long. So when they try to encapsulate us or incarcerate us in this dollar system, it's because they need people to buy these dollars. This is why I talk about all the time. When you look at the stable coin, they have absolutely no need to eliminate stable coins in the world because it's 1-to-1 with the dollar. That means every country in the world who uses stable coins in the middle of nowhere to get in and out of crypto, or even to take, I don't know, any country who has massive inflation, Turkey, and to get out of the lira and put it into a stable coin, which is not being inflated, whatever their inflation rate is, 90% annually. They get to hold dollars without holding them on a network. This is really important, okay? I think they're going to promote all of that. Of course they're headed for CBDCs because that's even more control, more enslavement, more capture, more regulation, more ability for them to really monitor what you and I are doing. And none of us like the idea of it. Even the people that think it's a good idea, they see the downsides of it. So at least they're being honest to themselves about some of those areas. What they're trying to do is to make sure that your dollars stay in your country. This is like what China does. China, I think used to be 50, I think it used to be 100,000, now it's $50,000. Put that down below if you guys can remember how many dollars they could pull out of China annually, each citizen. It's not a lot of money when you're a multimillionaire in China. So what do you got to do? You have to be a multimillionaire and stay there. Well, let's look at the U.S. The U.S. is one of the few countries, I think there's only 2 or 3 in the whole world, that allows U.S. citizens, oh yeah, go freely wherever you'd like, but you got to pay us tax. I mean, the nerve, right? The stones on that. Like, oh, I'm making all of my money in another country outside of your country, but I still have to pay tax for you guys? For this great, incredible leadership I'm getting from you people? The people that aren't even capable of having 40,000 people in the Pentagon, and you're not even able to call a rational mind like his? Don't tell me he's not rational. I don't care what you think of the man or what he's done in his lifetime. Putin's coherent, at least. That man can carry on a conversation. And I would challenge you, and I would put it to you to say, hey, you know what? Let's outwit him. Let's get on a phone call and get more in return than we give. I had a brilliant conversation with an older gentleman, his mid-80s, just the other day about my previous video. And it wasn't until he saw the Putin interview with Tucker Carlson that he said to me, you know, Allan, I never believed in anything that you believed in about the BRICS nations or Russia, and I always hated Russians, and I didn't really know why. I mean, other than the fact that, you know, he was of that age. And I get it. I do. I just don't. I met a bunch of Russians, and I haven't found one that I hated, really. I mean, this doesn't mean I love them all. I don't even know anything about most of them. But they're just human beings like every other country in the world. I just find it odd that nobody in America knows anything about them other than just to hate the country and the people and the leader. So that's always been my stance. And then he and I had a great conversation. And what it led down to, the final point of the conversation was nearly an hour long. He and I came to the conclusion that it seemed to me, now, could have been propaganda, of course, but it seems to me that our country, and I'm speaking of the US, our country doesn't seem to want peace on earth right now. And I'm just calling it the way this man sees it. I don't know. I don't know what their agendas are, but they seem to have a lot of ships in a lot of places that are just sitting ducks looking for a war. It seems like if you wanted peace on earth, you would do everything you could to get Zelensky and Putin in the same room. Oh, that's right. They had him in the same room, and then, oh, right, a British leader, right? Yeah. So-called leadership, huh? Those people don't want. They don't want peace on earth. Isn't that what we voted for? Didn't we vote for peace on earth? Doesn't every human being on this earth want peace? Why is it they've decided that, oh no, this is really what you guys want. You just don't know you want it. Really you do. You want us to play the cop and blow up other countries and demolish incredible cities like Baghdad and kill 1 million Iraqis for the cause, you know, for the message, for the, you know, for what, right? Let's get back to the money. The money is the issue because it's declining and people understand it and people don't like it. Nations, as you heard Putin say that he's down to whatever it is, 13% use of, or 3 to 13%, I can't remember. He's using a whole lot less when he was using up to 80%. He was happy to use the US dollar for almost ever, but see, nations are understanding that. So what are they going to do? This is getting back to my video, the last one. What are they going to do to eliminate that? What I mean by is you being able to take dollars outside of this country, you being able to transact in other currencies outside of this country. They've gone for the on-ramps, off-ramps. They've blown up FTX. They came after CZ. Binance was completely, this KYC was completely eliminated or brought to the forefront. They have a new guy who's the second in charge, who's just completely not the right guy to be running Binance. Okay, he's a puppet like the rest of them. So they're going to try and enslave, encapsulate all of this like they did with Coinbase. Coinbase is the man now. It's completely owned by the system, right? It's not a fair place to go and purchase cryptos. I mean, everybody does. Everybody starts there, and you go there and you take your money out of there. They don't want that anymore. They want to make sure that you're encapsulated, and that we know that if you're going to take your $200 million with your seed phrase to another country and live some lavish lifestyle, that they get theirs. And that's what this is all about. It's not about you. You're not a money launderer. You wouldn't even know how to. Most people I ask, what's money laundering? They have no clue of even what the concept means or how to do it. Or even people that have accidentally done it didn't know it was money laundering. That's right, the only people laundering money are the people that I talked about with 3 letters in it, and they're doing it with the $200 billion that's going to Ukraine. And it's pretty clear to anybody that knows anything about the economy around the world. This is pretty obvious to us. You know, I've been following the economy since too long to admit. It's been the same way forever. The people who move the drugs, the guns, the crime, and the leadership around the world are the money launderers. So I'm not saying who they are. You can figure that out for yourself. That's pretty clear. The second you try and do business outside of their business, you're their competition. This becomes a problem for you quickly. I better end this here soon, because I'm about to go down a road that's probably not going to be good. I think you and I have the right products. I talk about this a lot, but I'm going to talk about this further. Bitcoin is a storage of wealth. There's 4 or 5 cryptocurrencies, XRP and whatnot, as part of a banking system. If the banking system exists the way it is, and CBDCs come into the picture, and the IMF and the BIS can maintain control over the banking monetary systems globally, you're going to want to own some XRP. If you think that those systems are corrupt and horrible and that they are not the future of banking or mankind, it's still probably a good idea to have some as to hedge your bet, because in my opinion, they're not going to stay at 50 cents forever, in particular because that side of the puzzle, if you will, is not going away. They're fundamentally operating in some 50 different countries already, waiting for the day in which they pull the switch, and then everybody's going to wish they had said coin. I hope this resonates with you, because if you don't have both coins, I think you're really kind of missing the point of crypto. One is more the system. The other one is more storage of wealth, probably also associated with the system. But my point is, you can store your wealth in one, and the other one you can create wealth. Why wouldn't you own them both? I don't want to get too far into which coin is which from there, but the top 20 are great projects, in my opinion. They all have different attributes, and I think you guys should really look into all of them individually. Again, I want this to be a follow-up video to my last one. I really think that we're in a miraculous time of man's future going forward, financially in particular, because we are looking at turmoil that is being focused on economics for once. Turmoil always used to just be wars, elections, politics, famine. Not that famine isn't important, but like all of these different things, you know, civil war here, and bomb blew up over there, and this thing over there. This time, the rooster is coming to roost on economics and the value of our labor. And that's the most important future. That's the most important technology that you and I should focus on, because our future labor and our children's labor depends on what you and I achieve today. And it's very important to the future of man. With that, I am out. So the old guy says to me, Allan, I just thought you were a communist. And I was like, yeah, I could see that. But you know, Bob, I don't care for communists. I don't like the left. I don't like the far right either. I just love people. All people. It's so simple. Yet all we want to do is make it complicated. I love you guys. I'm out.